What's up, coaches? Welcome back to episode 3 of Tackleticians. My name's Rashad Elby.
I'm Andy Ryland.
And today we're going to be talking about leaving your feet on the tackle.
So this is one of the areas that I think is probably the top 2 mistakes tacklers make at all levels. We either leave our feet, we don't keep our cleats in the grass, lack of leg drive. Every coach has seen that. We're concerned about that. Or some of the upper body stuff involved with the clamp. But this is the biggest lower body error that I see.
And as an offensive coach, I love it when you guys do that. I love it when you guys leave your feet. So
that's yards after contact for your guys.
Right.
So there's a couple things we want to address that may help your athletes keep their cleats in the grass on contact. And the first one is going to be making sure they hit their fight to prepare at the appropriate distance. In the open field, I know you've seen it, guys often initiate the tackle very early. If you initiate the tackle too early, you get fully elongated. And if you do make connection with the running back or the wide receiver, it's a really difficult position to keep your feet and generate positive leg drive.
Correct. And you know, when that guy leaves his feet, I'm teaching my guys, deliver that punch, deliver that blow, especially if he leaves too early. You can almost just push him off of you, but if not, give him that good punch and just rake him down.
So for us to get our spacing right, here's one of our intro level spacing drills. This is from the advanced tackle system, and this is called zombie tackle. So this is just a simple constraint drill where we're going to have our ball carrier, in this case, without a ball. And you'll see they're going to hold their arms at arm's length, straight out in front of them, hence the zombie name. Now, why are they having their arms at arm's length? Well, that's the range of the stiff arm.
Sure.
That's the range of the tool you just talked about using to beat us.
Correct.
So what we're looking at is if I'm outside the range of the stiff arm can't defeat me.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep tracking. Once I get in that range, I want to quickly dip and initiate the tackle. Now, this drill isn't specifically about the stiff arm, but what it's going to make sure as far as keeping cleats in the ground is that our feet are close enough to the carrier. Because we talked about if I initiate too far away, what happens? I get over elongated and then I'm going to struggle. So you'll see our athletes here, arms out and stretched. So we're just giving them a range for distance. This is so our young tacklers or even advanced tacklers start to get a mental picture of what is the right range to dip and initiate the tackle. So as he closes the space, right, we're in track mechanics, so we're closing the distance here. We're still trying to get on your toes. We're trying to take away the space. We're trying to put the pressure back on you.
Yep.
Right now, I'm into the contact zone. I want to quickly load those hips, and then I want to explode through the tackle. So now I dip, because at that point, my intentions don't give you enough time to react and give you one of those things. Then obviously I want to finish with good fundamentals on all my other things. But this drill, while it's going to talk about timing and preparation, is also really going to help us keep our feet in the tackle, because it's something as simple as I dip at the right time, which means my feet are in the right location under me to accelerate away instead of elongate and flop flat.
Correct. Andy, talk a little bit about the hips. Where are the hips? Where do you want the hips? Where should the hips be when executing this tackle?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on the tackle type that we're trying to make. So obviously, if I'm making that form tackle in the upper body, I need to get closer to you, because as I sink, my upper body level is going to be a little more vertical, so I can strike you into the chest. I'm going to cover less horizontal distance. If I'm going to tackle you at the thigh level, when my upper body comes down, I cover more horizontal distance, so my feet are going to be slightly back. Now, the second drill we're going to talk about as far as not leaving our feet is going to be our swoop and drive drill. And here's a big shout out to Coach Vincent D'Agantano, great friend of USA Football, who's the originator of this drill after one of our first meetings with Richie Gray. So in this drill, what we're going to do is deliberately put players in that low pad level position when we talked about that lower body tackle, because traditionally that's a more difficult position for players to keep their feet, and we're going to force them to use good acceleration footwork, control their posture, and be able to maintain the drive. So in this drill, we're simply going to use a step over, a half round, whatever your program has, and we're going to use that as our tackle target. So as you can see, our players are going to, what looks like a strength and conditioning drill where they're pushing it across the ground. But for tackle purposes, we're going to use some sort of tracking mechanic coming into the tackle,
Okay.
which is going to force us to find great posture. We're going to strike into the bag, and you'll notice when we strike this bag on the ground, although we're holding ourselves up with our hands,
Sure.
our spinal levels and our pad height is going to be about what a thigh level tackle looks like.
Okay.
But instead of punching and flying straight out and doing kind of the old belly flop, we're going to have to sink, find our hips, find really good balance. Then when we strike in, can we maintain that posture? I love the term owning our posture. Can our players own these elongated and challenging postures and find a way to keep their cleats in the grass and generate leg drive? Often a player in this elongated position would give up their feet. Maybe they'd extend the hips, but there'd be no follow through. So here we're gonna find the feet, find the drive, and be able to work keeping our feet from movement into really low accelerated position. Our bigger guys are gonna struggle. You'll see the different body positions. Long, lanky guys are really gonna have to find some shapes in there, but it's gonna force us to stay balanced and in control, which is gonna keep our cleats in the ground. Because what good is power if it doesn't have any control? The final point we'll say on keeping cleats in the grass is gonna be the standard you hold as a coach. Now, as a coach, everyone yells, right? Bring your feet, chop your
Sure.
feet. We've all heard it. So why don't players do that? So I've pulled up a clip here of some high-level film. Who are we to judge? But that's a great example. And you can Google your favorite team, and I promise you, you will see this exact event occurring. When we tackle bags and shields and things that don't have a lot of resistance, what players are really keen to do is just smash the bag, send it flying, and it looks aggressive, it looks physical, but what you'll actually see is we're allowing them to leave their feet.
Sure.
So if we watch this first rep here, we're gonna have a high-level player look like pretty big force, but let's watch it again. What happens to his feet on contact? No
feet
steps, and he dives straight into the ground. Now, if this is Adrian Peterson, it's going to be hard to generate force. Now, let's watch the second and third rep. So even though this shield may not weigh very much, they're making at least a concerted effort to get multiple steps in the ground. So every drill rep you do, that's a fantastic rep right there. As a coach, you can make the standard, keep your cleats in the grass,
Sure.
generate multiple leg drive. If you're happy with this rep, because it looks tough and aggressive and physical and we've knocked a bag, you're actually training the wrong mechanics.
Sure.
So hold a high standard on lesser contact, lower level of contact drills to make sure you're getting the footwork and leg drive you needed, because that's what's going to carry over when we face a high quality running back. Unlock more resources on prep for contact and other contact skills by getting your youth coach certification. With this, you get access to many of USA Football's coach materials, including webinars and the Coach Planner app.
High school coaches can find more details on blocking, defeating blocks, and tackling through our high school coach certifications and systems. Find out more about what USA Football offers at footballdevelopment.com.
And don't forget our partners over at MVP. They're the creators of the world's first robotic, self-righting tackling dummy. Check them out at mvpdummy.com.
Coaches, thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Rashad Elby.
I'm Andy Ryland.
We'll see you on the next episode of Tackleticians.
High performance